oh my God, I was shaking so badly. Like, I have to get down this mountain. Like, I can't stop and just like wait it out or something. Like, it's only gonna get worse. Hello friends, I hope you are doing well today. Welcome to Explore Blue Wild. I am Karina, and on this channel we explore all things wonderful, wet, and wild. Today I am stuck inside like everybody else, and I wanted to do something that'd be sort of fun. So I wanted to start this series called Travel Tales, where I share with you guys little mini stories of some of the wildest adventures I have had on my many years of traveling. Today's episode is going to be Mount Taranaki, the hardest hike I have ever done. Mount Taranaki is a volcano on the southwest part of the North Island of New Zealand. It is almost a perfect cone, and it's a very popular mountain for tourists to hike. It's kind of similar to the Tongariro crossing, but not as popular, and so it's a little bit less crowded. When I went to New Zealand, me and a group of friends decided we would climb it. It's a 6-kilometer hike one way, so just over 3 miles. We thought, can't take that long. You know, 6 miles round trip, we'll be fine. We can start early in the morning. This is how this hike starts. You're walking through just kind of like New Zealand, sort of temperate, tropical-ish rainforest type stuff. It's pretty easy. It's a wide path, sloping up, because you are still increasing elevation, and you hike like this for a pretty long time. And then the path starts getting like a little bit steeper, like a little uncomfortable, and you sort of come out of the tree line, so you're just walking around in like a sub-alpine zone, so you've still got grasses and bushes and stuff, and you're walking around that and you start seeing the really cool rock formations on the mountains, and you're on that for, I don't know, like a kilometer or 2, and then you reach this lovely little cabin, which you don't get to access, but there's a toilet there, which you do get to access, and I would recommend you use it because the rest of the hike is difficult. So, after the cabin is where it gets nice and interesting. You hike a little bit, and then you start climbing this gigantic staircase up the side of the mountain. This staircase is longer than any staircase I have climbed before, and when you go to the top of it, you've just begun the hard part. The hardest part of this hike is the scree slope, and that is just like loose gravel that you are climbing up at an angle of about this. And it's just so extremely painful because you're walking up, and every step you take, you slide back like 3/4 of that step. So I was walking up there, I was like counting to 20 steps and having to stop. Probably also is an issue because I don't think I ate or drank enough that day, so my body was like really low on fuel, and then I was doing this very hard hike, and you are getting pretty high in elevation, so you're starting to get a little bit less oxygen. So once you make it up the hellish scree slope, which takes way longer than it should, it's definitely not very long, it's like a couple hundred meters, but it is the hardest part of the hike. You then get to scramble over rocks, and you're just kind of like climbing up. You know, part of it you have to use your hands, part of it is just your feet, but you're climbing up. You're already exhausted from walking up the scree and the staircase, and you just, you know, you're trying to get to the top of the mountain. The trail is marked only by these orange poles with numbers on them that don't seem to make any sense, except they keep going in one direction. So you're clambering over these rocks. It's actually super, super beautiful. You get to see all the little alpine flowers. If it's a clear day, you can start getting some views. If it's a cloudy day, you get the lovely views of the clouds. Once you get to the top of the rock scrambling, the markers end. Wouldn't it be great if that was the end of the trail? But it's not. You then get to walk through a mini crater on the top of the mountain, which is very cool. However, it is usually filled with snow even in the dead of summer, so don't hike this mountain with flip-flops or like casual sneakers, as I saw way too many people doing. Then, so once you hike through the mini crater, not that bad, probably an easy part of the hike, then you get to scramble all the way up to the summit, which is not very far, but it is a very steep scramble. Like, you're definitely gonna need both hands for this. And then you've made it to the summit, yay! This is, for me, it was about 5 hours in. For the rest of my group, who decided to abandon me and just go at their own pace, it took them about 3 hours. When I got to the summit, I got super lucky because the clouds actually parted for a couple minutes and I was able to see out over the Pacific Ocean and the land below, and you can actually see some of the clouds all the way below you, which are really cool. Stopped for a snack, knew I had to get down. I was exhausted by this point, like I was half dead. I was like, okay, down can't be that hard, it'll be fine. No. It is not fine. Because climbing down really steep things is also incredibly difficult. So when you're going down, the most difficult part becomes the sort of scrambling thing because you're like climbing back down the rock. You can't walk down it because you'll fall and, you know, badly injure yourself. So you're just putting like extreme amounts of weight on your legs. So I hiked down to the summit, got to the crater, it was fine. I started hiking down like a slightly less steep part of the rock. I was really exhausted, but I was okay. Then I started going down the very steep part of the rock, sort of scrambling part, and oh my god, I was shaking so badly. My legs were just like trembling, like wobbling like this, and I was like, I have to get down this mountain, like I can't stop and just like wait it out or something, like it's only gonna get worse. I'm like going down this rock maze, like shaking, my arms are shaking because I'm like putting weight on them so that my legs don't collapse as I'm like going down the steep parts. It's awful. But you got a nice view for it, so I guess it's okay. Then you get to go down the scree slope, and I must admit this part is actually a little bit fun because, as I mentioned, it's very slippery, so you can essentially just sort of like slide your way down that part of the trail. I think I slid down about halfway and then I might have, I can't remember exactly, I think I might have ended up on my butt for a portion of it because it's basically like sledding, and that's honestly a way safer way to do it. If you try to hike down it, you will again probably fall on your face and it will not be fun for you. So made it down the scree slope, that was like a momentary interlude, and then I got to hike all the way back down the staircase, and the rest of the trail, my legs were absolutely dying. I could barely breathe, I was so exhausted. I finally got cell service and texted the rest of my group about 3.5 kilometers from the bottom, and by the time I had got there, I could not really walk. I was just like, ugh. And they'd already eaten dinner, yay! Anyway, so once you have finished the lovely hike and you feel very accomplished and your legs are trembling and you can't feel anything, that is not the end of your suffering. At least for me, I could not walk for like the next 3 days without extreme pain. So if you're going to hike Mount Taranaki, here is my suggestion for you. Make sure you drink enough water and eat plenty of food, both the day before and the day of the hike. It kind of sucks because there's only one bathroom on the trail and there's no trees to hide behind, but I would say being hydrated is worth, you know, having to hold it a little bit. So drink a lot of water, eat a lot of food, make sure you give yourself enough time to get up to the summit because it's gonna be harder than you think. Wear good shoes because your feet are gonna get caught up on the scree and the rocks, and then you're gonna get soaking wet in the snow and it will not be fun for you. And then give yourself a day or two to recover once you come down that mountain, because unless you are an extreme mountain climber, it's gonna be hard on you. That is the story of hiking Mount Taranaki. A wonderful hike, great views, and the most pain I have ever been in from hiking a mountain. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like, please like and subscribe below. Comment if you guys want to see more of these stories. I have plenty to tell, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!